This unit was, I think, the most challenging, the most technically difficult of all of the units that we'll have in this course. And honestly, we didn't even get very far into XML. We only got as far as we needed to in order to learn how to create a DTD and define a namespace for a metadata schema. There is a whole world of technologies that we did not talk about in this unit. A lot of the technology of the web is built on XML, and let's face it, the web is a pretty big place, right? We did not talk about cascading style sheets, which allow you to add formatting and display information to an HTML or an XML document. We didn't talk about XSLT, the extensible style sheet language transformations, which is another way to add formatting and display data to an XML document, slightly more sophisticated than CSS. I mentioned XHTML, which is HTML rendered in XML, but we didn't really get into it. Didn't even come close to talking about RDL, the Resource Directory Description language, which provides information about XML namespaces, specifically descriptions of the namespace and related resources. And we didn't talk about GRDL, which, even though it shares part of the same acronym, doesn't stand for the same letters, doesn't stand for the same words, rather. GRDL is gleaning resource descriptions from dialects of languages. I think they really had to reach to make that acronym work. It's a method for extracting RDF triples from XML documents. There are lots of other XML-based technologies that we didn't address, but this isn't a course on XML. I've tried to focus only on what I thought was necessary for understanding how to construct metadata schemas. But enough about what we didn't do. If you're interested in more about XML, as I said at the beginning of this unit, I will link to some resources, tutorials, and courses and whatnot where you can learn more. So what did we do? First of all, XML allows you to create your own markup languages. It is a markup language in which you write markup languages. XML allows you to create your own markup language and define any elements you want, such as, for example, the one we looked at earlier in this unit, our recipe. But you don't just get those elements for free. You have to create them. You have to declare them. And that's done in a DTD, such as this DTD that we looked at earlier for that recipe. Usually, in a DTD, there is a section that refers to one or more namespaces. And in a namespace, you've got a set of declarations for a set of entities. And namespaces and DTDs are written in RDF. RDF is written in XML. RDF is made up of triples, subject, predicate, object, and those triples allow you to make statements about objects. The entire point of a metadata schema, of course, is to enable you to make certain kinds of statements about objects. And here's the chain of technology that makes that possible, right? RDF is built in XML. DTDs and namespaces are built in RDF. Metadata schemas are built on DTDs and namespaces. So now that we have all of that, now that we have experience with all of these, in the next unit we're going to move on to applying them in the form of other metadata schemas. Now, so far I've been using Dublin Core as an example, And Dublin Core is a good example because it's fairly simple and it's built on all of these technologies that are shared across other metadata schemas. But now we need to move on and look at things that are not Dublin Core. So that's all for today. Good night, good work, sleep well.